President-elect Barack Obama is a socialist and a communist, and I have proof. I want everybody to hear me out before they start ranting and raving and throwing a fit because I've called this man a socialist and a communist. Here's a bit of a history lesson for everybody. The Insurrection Act of 1807 was passed to restrict the president's ability to deploy American troops in the United States. Why was this done? Because at that time it was held very important that the city, state, government handled domestic issues. The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 was passed, further limiting the president and federal government's ability to deploy American troops for domestic issues. It actually carried a heavy fine, again to reinforce that the federal government is to stay out of local and state domestic issues. Well, life goes on, things pass, and 9/11 happens. A little over a month after 9/11 happens, on October 26th, 2001, the Patriot Act was passed. It was signed into law by President Bush. In the Patriot Act, it gives the federal government the right to wire or bug your house, search your items, your cars, everything you own, question you, detain you, and other things, all under the suspicion you might be a terrorist. And all this can be done without a warrant. So basically the Patriot Act gave the ability to spy on each and every one of us, regardless of who you are, whether or not you're a foreigner or you're not. The government has a right to do these things to you. And if they find any type of evidence that supports this, they can detain you for an indefinite amount of time without charges pending investigation. Sorry about that. But holding you indefinitely pending investigation. Well, a lot of people supported it because they felt it would make the country safer. And here it is 7 years later, and I'm still not feeling very safe. The John Warren Authorization Act of 2007 was passed. That was a revision to the Insurrection Act of 1807, giving the president the ability to deploy American troops in the United States for riots, civil unrest, any type of terrorism such as biological, nuclear, anything like that. But it also gave a statement that said, and other. At the president's discretion, and at his discretion alone, he can deploy American troops in the United States if he feels it's necessary. He doesn't have to consult the Senate or the Congress. Only thing he has to do is give the order. I found that a bit disturbing. Well, and was it October 1st, 2008, the first active military unit was assigned to Northern Command. That's right, the first active American unit was deployed here in the United States, the 3rd Infantry. They report to the Commander-in-Chief that holds jurisdiction over the United States. That, in short, means that we have an active military unit here in the United States that sole purpose is for domestic issues. Seems we're going a bit backwards, aren't we? And here lately, if you haven't heard about it yet, you need to get out from under a rock, but the Congress passed, and President Bush signed into law, a $700 billion bailout program for the financial institute. This in turn gives the United States government the ability to loan private industry money. Not a bad idea, I guess. I wasn't really supportive of it. I'm still not. But in this particular bailout, so far, as of December 5th, the bailout program has basically been a flop. They've loaned banks billions of dollars, and they're buying stock in some of these financial institutes, which means that our federal government is now becoming partial owner of private industry. To me, that's disturbing. I thought they were going to buy troubled assets, such as, properties, this, that, and the other, to lighten the burden on these banks. Not become part shareholder, part owner. I don't know how other to describe it, but if you look up the definition of socialism and communism, the state controls the economy. The government controls the economy. And that's basically what's starting to happen. Our federal government is starting to become private owners or part owners of banks. The funny thing is, and this is the selling point here, the funny thing is this was all done with President Bush sitting behind the wheel while he was in charge. And it takes a very inventive man, such as President-elect Barack Obama, to be able to orchestrate this without even having to be leading the country. Barack Obama is a socialist and a communist, and he's been controlling the entire United States while he was a senator in Illinois. So we need to watch this guy, because if he can do that, he can do anything. The healthcare issue, he wants to give everybody health care. That is just another straw to throw on the camel. The fact that he wants to tax anybody that makes more than $250,000, that scares me. Because a person who makes $250,000 a year can't make it. They're going to starve to death. That little apartment they can barely pay for now.